In the past couple of months, there's been a lot of speculation about this sort of next-gen 911, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. And we're here to answer all your questions about that and talk about that hybrid powertrain that we possibly will be getting. But we don't want to hold you guys any longer. My name is Trent, and you're watching God Next. We got a massive press release from Porsche on Porsche Newsroom, and they were talking about this new generation of 911. It's not really a new generation. Porsche does this thing where they give it a .2 at the end. They did it with the previous generation, the 991s. We have the 991.1 and the 991.2. The .2 just means it was released a couple years after the original release. And they did the exact same thing with this 992 generation of the 911. So there's plenty of things that are coming, some new things that are coming with this car, but we're here to talk about one specific car in general. So Porsche is actually releasing a car with a hybrid powertrain system, and that is the 911 Carrera GTS model. It is possible that we will be getting hybrid powertrains later on in the future. And I know what a lot of you guys might be thinking, like, this is just going to lead into getting a fully electric 911, but don't worry, that is not the case. Speaking of the fully electric 911, it's actually speculated that we won't get that until the 998 generation of the 911, which is the replacement to the 994 generation of the 911, which is supposed to come out after the current 992 generation. I know that's a lot of numbers, and Porsche makes it very confusing, but like I said, we have at least a decade until that comes, and possibly even 2 decades. They like to keep their 911s around for a long period of time usually. But we're not here to talk about the future. We're talking about what is here now. And we're going to talk about all the details on this new 911 Carrera GTS Hybrid. So what changes are coming to this 992.2 GTS? Well, first off, the new Carrera GTS is the first road legal 911 with a hybrid powertrain system. We've just said that 4 times in the past couple minutes. So, it's the first hybrid powertrain for 911. But at the core of this engine comes a brand new 3.6 liter flat 6 engine. And this thing, paired with the electronic motors and everything like that, this thing's a beast. This new GTS will accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds, 0.3 seconds faster than the outgoing GTS. Already, it may not seem like a big number, but that's a massive number. And that makes this a sub 3 second 0 to 60 car, which I'm not sure if you guys have seen the list. It's not a big list. A lot of cars take well over 3 seconds. Your everyday cars are taking 5, 6, 7, more, 10, 12 seconds. So this car already has a higher acceleration, possibly a higher top speed. We don't know for a fact. I'm guessing it will. We'll get into more numbers in a second. Now, this new technology and this new engine hasn't just been something that Porsche decided to do in the last year. They've actually been in the works with this for a couple of years now. And Porsche actually does state that the engineers utilize expertise developed in racing as a baseline for the concept of the hybrid system. They developed and tested various ideas and approaches to decide on a hybrid system that optimally suits the 911. So basically what they're saying is they used racing as a testing ground, which is very true. A lot of car companies do this. Porsche actually has a race car in the WEC, or the World Endurance Challenge, and IMSA, which both endurance racing series, but last year in 2023, they introduced the Porsche 963, which we're watching the WEC, and this car is great for acceleration. It's bumped up the racing acceleration by so much. It just goes to show that racing isn't a sport. It's also a testing ground where they test technology for these new vehicles that we're going to see in the cars we're going to be driving every day. On this new 911 GTS as well, there's plenty of other improvements that have been made, such as the new strengthened 8-speed dual clutch transmission. It's a PDK transmission. Don't ask me what that is. You can go ahead and look it up yourself. I will not be able to pronounce it correctly. It's all German. But it comes with an integrated, permanently excited synchronous motor and is part of the powertrain of the 911 Carrera GTS. It supplements the power of the Boxer engine at idle with up to 110 pound-feet of torque and develops up to 40 kilowatts. This 911 also does use a newly developed electronically driven turbocharger. An integrated electric motor placed between the compressor and the wheel and the turbine wheel speeds up the turbocharger very quickly to develop extra boost. The electric turbocharger is not equipped with a wastegate and allows for the use of single turbocharger compared to the 2 that were previously used, while simultaneously improving throttle response and performance. So a lot of mechanical talk. Gets pretty in-depth. If you want to look more deep into it, you can definitely check it out on Porsche Newsroom and stuff like that. But we're going to be talking about some of the basics here today. There's going to be more released later on, I bet. So speaking about horsepower and output of this engine, this new Boxer engine by itself develops 478 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. But if you combine it with the electronic components, This total system output equates to 532 horsepower and 449 pound-feet of torque, which compared to the previous 911 GTS, it's got a total of 59 more horsepower, and the new GTS outperforms its predecessor in acceleration, particularly when starting from a standstill. Though the new GTS model does weigh a little bit more than the previous one, which is to be expected since it does have the more electronic components, which do weigh quite a bit, this car still only comes out about 103 pounds more than the predecessor, which when you really think about it, that's not much. You're not really going to notice that weight, especially when it's got the boost in performance and stuff like that. Besides the performance and mechanical changes, the new generation of the 911 also got many refreshed exterior and interior designs. This new 911 comes with a total of 7 different wheel options that you can choose from, and for the first time ever, the 911 Carrera exclusive design wheels are available with a carbon fixed aero blades, which can help reduce your drag coefficient and optimize your overall efficiency. You've probably seen something like this on the Manti racing kits. You can get them for the GT3 RSs, GT2 RS, and now the GT4 RS. So if you've seen those aero blades, they might look a little weird. You might like them, but they actually do help out a lot. Continuing on with the overall look and design of the car, Porsche gave the front fascia a massive update. Instead of using the horizontal slits, they've opted for 5 vertically aligned active air flaps, as well as a further flap which closes off the bypass on each side, but it's not visible from the exterior. They're also complemented by adaptive front diffusers in the underbody, which are being used for the first time to work together with the cooling air flaps. These elements direct the airflow as needed when little power is needed. Closed air flaps optimize the aerodynamics of the car when extracting high levels of power from the engine. For example, on track, they funnel a high amount of air to the radiators. The newly designed rear light band with the Porsche lettering all across enhances the impression and width of this car since it sits so low and it's got a great looking stance. They added a new rear deck lid grille with 5 strakes per side, forms a visible unit with the rear window, and flows seamlessly into the automatically and adjustable rear spoiler. And the GTS model has a model-specific exhaust system integrated elegantly into the pronounced diffuser fins. Like stated before, the 911 GTS Hybrid models do come with a very specific sport exhaust system that's only going to be available for that car at the launch. There are sport exhaust systems for the other 992.2 911s, but we don't know exactly about those right at this moment. Overall, the new design choices on the exterior of this car look phenomenal and really accentuate the look and feel of this car. I really love the placement of the exhaust on this car. I think that the vertical flaps on the front look way more aggressive than the previously outgoing 911 horizontal slits. But last but not least, we need to talk about the interior updates on this car because there's a lot. They may not look that crazy, but there's some firsts for Porsche, which you either love it or you hate it. First of all, the new 911 models will feature a fully customized digital instrument cluster. This 12.6-inch display can be customized to suit you best. It's got 7 different modes you can choose from, which will just make this car feel a little bit more personal to you. You don't have that same look and feel that every other 911s get. You can really tell this one is yours based on how you decide to do it. And this car also does come with the centrally positioned tachometer on your dash. Porsche's been doing this since the very first 911. It works as both a clock and a stopwatch if you get the Sport Chrono package, which is great for track times. If I'm getting a 911, I'm getting the Sport Chrono package. I don't care about the cost. I'm buying a 911. I don't like this feature. I'm not a big fan. Porsche opted for a push to start on this car. I like turning the key, especially on the left side. Porsche has the key ignition on the left side. Again, Porsche is really big in racing, and that is just an homage to the 24 Hours Le Mans back in the day when they actually had to run across the track, get in, and it was just faster for them to turn the car on. As they were getting in, they could turn the car on just because it was on the left side instead of the right side. And I really like that, but they decided to get rid of it. The button's still on the left side, but it just doesn't feel as cool to me personally. One of the coolest features I think on this car is that for the first time, video streaming is offered as an option for this car when you are parked. So you can stream whatever you want while you're just sitting there parked. I think that's really cool. Porsche is getting really involved with technology, and I didn't think I'd see something like that from them for at least a long time. They're all about performance. They want their cars to feel like driver's cars. They don't want the self-driving stuff, which I really respect, but they do give you those creature comforts that everyone's kind of loving at this moment. In conclusion, I think the new 911 Carrera GTS is a major improvement over the predecessor that's going to be going out this year technically, and I'm looking forward to seeing this new car. I think it looks great. It's going to be interesting to see the hybrid. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to see a fully electric 911, but the hybrid I like. If they can use the hybrid technology for a 918 hypercar, why can't they just use it for a 911? Make the 911 even better than it already is. That's saying a lot because the 911 is already a really good sports car. Let us know what cars you would like to see us cover next. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.